What is up guys, my name is Chris, this is Tactilus and welcome to today's video, which is about a game I didn't really expect to be playing, maybe at all. It was a game I played out of sheer curiosity and boredom, and it is Dune Awakening. Now I haven't played a Dune game ever, I've never read a book, I've never seen any of the movies. Call me Shell, what's that word I'm looking for, a Hamlet? Not Hamlet, I know what I mean. Anyway, I haven't checked out any of the stuff in the Dune universe, and I thought the game would be a good place to start, since apparently it doesn't tie into any of the original lore or canon stuff. It's all set in an alternate universe, so I figured it'd be a cool place to start. And I have to say, I'm actually really impressed with the game. Didn't expect to like it as much as I do, and this is my impressions after the first few hours. So the gameplay on screen right now is after about maybe 5-10 minutes. This is pretty early on. You just pick up the scan for the first time, and this is the way the game teaches you the core basics, the real simplest of gameplay mechanics. So this is you breaking onto a spaceship to trigger a transmitter to start off a sequence of events that triggers the rest of the game. So I've played about 2 and a bit hours, 2 or 3 hours at this point, and I have to say I am genuinely really impressed. Now, to me, it looked like a game that maybe was just good but didn't really excel at anything, and I would say that's probably still true. So one of my biggest gripes so far is what you're seeing on screen now. This is the combat. Maybe this is early game combat and later game combat gets better. I don't know, but to me, the combat system is just, you know, super basic, and there isn't really that much to it. It's basically you can block, you can parry, you can long attack. Well, this is with a knife anyway, and that's about it. And it's a cool, like, it works well. I feel like there was a lot of trial and error with the early game with the fighting mechanics. Like you can see in this fight, I think is the second fight that you get into in the game, and I'm getting my ass handed to me. All of a sudden I beat them, but you know, it doesn't just wait from the fact that I got my ass handed to me off the bat. But I think the game does a really good job of not holding your hand too much, of being like, hey, this is how you do this, get on with it. And I feel like that's something that a lot of games don't do very well, is they will just baby you and hold your hand through everything. And like anything, this game has its early game tutorial, and you need it, because if you don't have it, you end up in a situation that people get frustrated or whatever with the game. So I think it's a good job they have it, and I think it works well. So as you can see, I'm kind of just making my way through this spaceship. There isn't really an obvious, there's like a defined path through. It is a linear level, if you will, but it's not like you have to follow, you know, a trail on the floor or lighting or whatever. You kind of wing it and do what you want to do, which is kind of cool. So this is the tutorial on the like longer attacks, and for me at least, this is where the combat tutorials kind of stop. So that shows you how basic, at least in the early game, the fighting is. Not a big deal breaker or a big gripe, but it would be interesting to see if they'd fleshed it out and don't go to the levels of like Kingdom Come Deliverance, but at least maybe have a system where, you know, you can hit knives or shields or whatever the heck they have in their hand at the time, and parry off of maybe you can parry off of like wrist guards and that kind of stuff. So this is a bit later on in the game. This is after you've really gotten out the main tutorial, and the game kind of just lets you add it a little bit more. So you can see this is, I think, the first enemy that I fought is this guy outside of the like tutorial, and you can see my I'm not doing too well. So maybe it's a good job they didn't flesh it out too much. I don't know. But yeah, you can see I'm getting my ass handed to me, and when you're like down on your luck in the fighting mechanics, like the game does a really good job of like beating you into submission, of like, oh shit, this isn't going too well. So whatever, it's good. So this is the crafting menu going on right now, and this is a feature I actually really like so far. I think they do pretty well. Obviously, you know, it's a survival game. Chances are it's going to have a crafting system of some sorts. This seems a little bit more simple and user-friendly than a lot of the ones I used. I feel like games do a good job of really overcomplicating a lot of the crafting systems, and so far at least Dune seems to do a pretty good job of keeping it good. Now this is a funny glitch I encountered earlier on. This is kind of goes to show that the game's not perfect, right? And you zoom in on this little settlement or whatever, and the character's just walking around doing his thing. Um, just after I crafted the binoculars, and then this is maybe my favorite part of this game so far. Maybe that's just like me personality wise, but this is the base building aspect, and again, I think they do a really good job of not overcomplicating it, not trying to make it something it's not. It's all pretty user friendly. There was a few bits later on that I had to figure out. I had to do something in particular to craft a blood bank or something like that, I think it was, and there wasn't really an obvious way for me to see. I like researched the blood bank and I went to go craft it with the crafting tool that you get in the early game, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. Turns out you have to press I think it's the R button to bring up like a sub menu, and I hadn't figured that one out yet. So maybe the game explained it and I like ignored it, but I hadn't figured that bit out yet. So not ideal. This is again probably part of my characteristic as a person here, is that I just get carried away and forget that I'm following tutorials till at this point. I built this little base and then realized that, oh shit, I had to demolish half of it because it needs to be like 4x4 at least. We have to put down 4 squares to progress. So that was a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. And I don't think at least I've come across another player yet. Maybe I'm blocked out of other people so far, but I saw another base that looks like it was another player's. You would have seen it in one of the earlier screens, but I haven't seen a single player. Maybe that's on purpose. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's, maybe the game just is trying to purposely feel really, really fleshed out and sparse. Maybe that's the wrong word, but like there just isn't a whole lot here, and maybe that's what the game is trying to portray in this early point. To say like, hey, you're on a desolate world here. That being said, there are like 4 or 5 encampments super close to where the game spawns you in and where this base is built. So I don't know, maybe I feel like that's a hard mechanic to like perfect early on, especially because you have to appease the new players and the players that just want to get on with it. So maybe when you get further into the game and you flesh the world out a little bit, it all kind of makes sense. But at least in this early game, it feels super desolate and it feels like you really are like the only person here. But back to my original point, I like the base building. It's cool, and I'm excited to like look into that feature even more and play and craft and see what you can build. I don't see at the moment there's a huge like necessity to have it outside of maybe crafting some stuff, and like just using it as shelter and to get out the sun and all that kind of stuff. But it's a cool mechanic, and I'm glad it's in the game. I think if you're a solo game, you don't have some sort of base building aspect, you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. And this is a bit later on after the base building adventure, so I had to go and collect some bits, and basically to move on to the next level I had to go and just do stuff, and I figured in the process I would maybe go and fight some scavengers or whatever. So you can see this is a resource collection mechanic, which I think works really well. It's not too overcomplicated. There doesn't seem to be a huge array of resources, which again is I think something that a lot of games do not so well maybe. But yeah, I think it's a cool mechanic, and I think it works pretty well. You can see I'm trying to figure out how to use the grappling hook there, and I think that's a cool feature. The free climbing and all that kind of stuff seems to work pretty well. It's not maybe as fluid as I would like, but I don't think it's janky or anything in that way, that's for sure. And so there's that base I was talking about earlier over there on the right, and this random character. This is something I don't understand, is some characters I feel like die super quickly and some take a while. Maybe not in this gameplay loop that I'm showing you right now, but a bit later on, I feel like I'm getting to a lot of fights that I'm purposely going straight away for the headshot with a gun, and I feel like they don't die very quickly. And I'm getting to other gunfights, and they seem to die super quickly. So I appreciate you have some enemies with armor and some without armor, but yeah, the balancing seems a little bit janky. Maybe it's just me, but that's what I've found in the early game at least. You can see I'm getting my ass handed to me by by these 3 or 4 enemy AI right now, so I'm doing a runaway. I mean, just look at that scenery. I'm touched on the graphics of this game yet. It looks awesome. Like, there's only a real super basic palette to this game. It's like blues and sandy color, I guess, but it looks really cool. They've done a really good job of making it look modern and pretty, and it really is visually a cool looking game. There is some weird artifacting and some stuff in the level design I feel like that I've spotted, that there's a lot of clipping, but maybe it's just me. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe it's a feature, not a fault. I don't know, but yeah, I think the game seems to look really good. It plays generally well. The next section is gonna be like live commentated. I seem to have massive frame drops in that live commentated bit. I'll talk to you more in depth about that when we're there, but outside of that part of the level, it all seems to be super stable, and I'm not having massive FPS drops, which I think is impressive. And this is all recorded in 4K. It's not being uploaded in 4K, but the game's being played in 4K, and yeah, I mean, it seems to be doing a real good job on the stability front, and I think the devs have done a pretty good job here. So you can see I'm like I keep saying, I am getting my ass absolutely handed to me by these enemies here. But all I have to do is get this like blood sample, I think, off of these characters. Again, the game doesn't like baby you with it. You kind of left to figure it out yourself, or maybe I'm not really reading parts of the tutorial that I should be reading, but hey ho. So I needed to collect this blood sample to go back to the base to build this blood generator thing, and I'm experimenting more and more as the game goes with the grapple, and the, you can see there I'm trying to figure out like what you can get away with in terms of the free running and the free climbing and that kind of stuff, and it's not super open as what you can and can't climb and run and jump on and stuff, but it's generally pretty good. There's a lot of freedom. The game doesn't restrict too much outside of maybe what's realistic or whatever, and I think they do a really good job with that. As you can see, I'm running through these like hydration plants, which is part of the like life mechanic. You can also see the like spaceship you come from up there in the sky. I think it looks really cool. The game, like I know I keep saying it, but for me, I get particularly with like space games and sci-fi games, you get a really good feel for it with how it handles the environment and the world. And I think, like I said, I think they've done a pretty good job here. So you can see up here when I get back to the base, you can see me struggle around a little bit to try and figure out how the heck I spawn in one of these blood banks things, or blood refiner, or whatever the heck they're called. And eventually I figure it out, but you know, it just goes to show some of the early game frustration. And yeah, I think I'll leave you there. Enjoy the next live commentated bit. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Man, look how good that looks. That is wild how good this game looks. I really didn't expect that from this. Where am I going? Okay, up here. Yeah, we should probably do some more of these, I think. Yeah, I really didn't expect this game to look this good. Just from everything I just saw. Wow, look at that ship. It's like hunting something. Yeah, sorry, I keep getting distracted. I really did not expect it to look this good. I'm thoroughly impressed with that. Okay. Enter the ancient cave. Oh, wow. That's cool. Do I interact with any of this stuff? No. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Let's, I'm excited to see what this first trial of Akul is. Oh, wow. It's like a tomb. Damn, that's so cool. Inhale the spice. This won't not stop being weird for a little while, the whole spice thing. Oh, okay. Into a loading screen. Just my character? Kind of looks like the one from the first bit of the game you meet. Man, this is trippy. It's like Baldur's Gate-esque. Okay, where do I go from here? Man, it's trippy. I guess we just follow this path for a little bit and...
Who is it that thinks? Ibn Kirtaiba. The weight of a kindly god is a fearful thing. Do you understand why?
This is where I wonder if I missed out on something not having watched the movies or read the books, because I feel like there's some lore I'm not understanding here.
And the words of the Kitab al-Ibar rest in black shade.
Ooh. Oh, the burning eyes rest in black shade. Okay, that makes sense. Should get in the shade, get in the shade, get in the shade. There we go. So this must be the trial. And it's like blinking. So I have shade and I have blinking to work with here. Alright. Okay, there's another one. I wonder if I can just stick close to the wall and... Yeah, so as long as I'm in the shady part, I'm groovy. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Also, very like Assassin's Creed 3-esque. I love that game. Got such a bad rap. Ooh. Yeah, this is very, very AC3-esque, I feel like. And Baldur's Gate-y. Kind of an amalgamation. While very much being its own thing. I'm impressed. I feel like I should be paying attention to the dialogue here, but I'm really not. I don't know what the Hajj is, I'm sorry. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Alright, this one's like moving. It's like a spotlight. Alright. I think we got this. Okay. Oh shit. Man, it didn't like jump when I hit jump. That's annoying. Is that a... Oh boy. Fuck. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, definitely spacebar to jump. So maybe I should do it earlier. Yeah, there's no other way. It's got to be just... Boop. There we go. I just did it too late the first time. No dramas. Moving swiftly on. Go, go, go. Left maybe? Oh shit. Or is it right? Maybe, is that a pathway over the other side? Maybe it's right. Why don't we jump on that block? Okay, let's try the right. Nope. Maybe I just didn't jump properly. Come on, come on, come on. Ah, there we go. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh shit, that was lucky. Way more luck than any judgment there, I can promise you that much.
Ibn Qutayba. Defiance leads to thought. Who is it that thinks? Those who suffer. Remember, Harman. Ibn Qutayba. Defiance leads to thought. Those who suffer.
Fuck. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna have to go back and watch the films just to understand some of this stuff. Or listen to the dialogue, that might also help. Damn, that's trippy as fuck. Reconnecting to the server. I do wish there was a way to play this like offline. you know. Just for the long-termness of it more than anything. Alright, there's my dude waking up. Hell of a hangover from that spice, eh, bud? Oh man, the like clothing's glitched at the back there. That's cool though.
Still there, off-worlder. Your signal drifted for a moment. No matter. A thought occurs. When the Sardaukar began their purge, many Fremen were slaughtered. The ones that were not abandoned their caves, leaving valuable resources behind. Valuable resources that just might contain the makings of a still suit. Take what you need. Their ghosts will not object.
That was cool.